Breaking news, Florian Wirtz hijacked from Liverpool Football Club. Who would have known? Because it wasn't me, and I don't think it was you. Maybe some of you had that in mind. Maybe some of you are thinking, how are we going to pull this one over the likes of Manchester City? But this is why you got to love football. There's always so many different twists. And we've seen in the past, Liverpool go toe-to-toe with Chelsea the last couple of seasons or so, or whatever, with Caicedo, with Enzo, with Lavia, and so forth. But before we get into it, please smash the like button. Like button does absolute brilliant wonders for any channel and video. Push me out to my next subscriber, and then before you know it, I've got someone who's loyal to the channel and likes the content because of you. But because of you lot who are probably watching this video, aka Liverpool fans, you know who I support. So now you know that I'm going to be a little bit salty with this, but scrap that aside, right? You're the winners of the Premier League. You have to attract something. You have to big up Michael Edwards and also Richard Hughes in what they're trying to transform Slots' team into. You know, at one point, there was talk of, obviously, Mo Salah leaving, there's Kanate contract talks, and of course, you know, Van Dijk. But now that's been put to bed, now it's time to put the Premier League to the sword. And by getting Florian Wirtz, of course, confirmed by David Ornstein, big up Christian Folk for dropping the news on Kicker as well, as he definitely went into a more extended version. It looks like it's very much possible, and it's very, very dangerous for the rest of us. This is the levels. And Liverpool have never really been known to sign major superstars. They create them and then they sell them, or, you know, they just move on at some point later in their career when they're a little bit old and knackered. But Florian Wirtz, for me, is the perfect solution to Slots' team. Slot already plays controlling football. You know, when you got McAllister, Gravenberch, at times Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, now it's time to add some flavour. Now, by adding that flavour of Florian Wirtz, you get yourself what I would call a traditional number 10 that I like. The old school 10s that have been dying out. He's a playmaker. He can score goals. He's definitely got an eye for goal. And he's got a great vision. And imagine that's not where it's going to end either, as predicted. You know, not saying that this signing is going to happen. It's going to be a major fight, which we'll talk about. But oh my God, they're still looking for a striker. And it's Mo Salah. If you're talking about control football of a free midfield of Gravenberch, McAllister, and then a Wirtz, we're in for a long ride. That's a nasty midfield to play against. And that really tells me what, you know, Liverpool are trying to do, especially with the signing of Frimpong, bringing in 2 players from Leverkusen. I mean, why not? It makes sense now. Attack, and control. I think one thing Slot will probably like to do is get further a bit up the pitch and not lose the ball as much, because you don't really lose the ball already anyways. But Florian Wirtz is definitely one of them technicians that you need in your side and to improve the quality of your squad. So this is why this is absolutely dangerous. I don't want to see it. The man has registered 10 goals in the Bundesliga with 13 assists. That's nasty. And to be fair, we're going to hit Bundesliga tax. But even when it comes to the Champions League, the man has his fair share of goals. Actually, how about this? You witnessed him already potentially at Anfield. I can't remember if he was playing or not. I'm pretty sure he was. But you can definitely see the quality even if you watch him in the Euros. I have been a massive fan of Bayer Leverkusen ever since that Xabi Alonso side of last year went unbeaten, and I'm sure you lot have as well. But I have actually been following them a little bit more this season due to that fact. They just missed out on the title. When I say just missed out, I mean it was a little bit of a landslide. But here we are. You know, I don't see how this one does not succeed in the Premier League for me. There's so much more to his game than goals, assists. You've got to look at his overall contribution to the gameplay. You know, at times, the way he even drops deep, collects the ball, keeps it ticking, and really and truly, he can dominate a midfield all by himself. Now, you've already got McAllister, and some may say, when McAllister's out, who do you play? Well, Florian Wirtz can shift into that space too. You know, 8's not unknown to him, and it doesn't mean where does Szoboszlai play either. I wouldn't have those reservations or wondering who's going to play where. Because at the end of the day, you need a fantastic squad, not just for the Premier League, but for Europe. And he's the perfect man. David Ornstein came out and confirmed Liverpool make contact with Florian Wirtz camp 23 minutes ago as it stands, to express interest in signing the playmaker if he leaves Bayer Leverkusen and is keen on moving to England. Liverpool admiration long-standing, but unclear whether the 22-year-old plans to exit Bayer Leverkusen or Germany. Now, Manchester City have been tracking this guy for a while. And one thing we know with Liverpool anyways is that they're silent assassins when it comes to this transfer market. You know, all of a sudden they go and sign McAllister for 34 million, bargain. There was a deal for Gravenberch, cheap. In the end, super bargain, half the price. And look what he's turned into now. And then now you're looking at Florian Wirtz. Now, he even came out earlier saying, and it was from Christian Falk, that he mentioned that Liverpool wouldn't have an issue with his price tag. Actually, it suits Bayer Leverkusen's asking price and more. And if you're going to think about something as a statement signing for this summer, if you're going to literally tell the Premier League, be scared of us because there's more to come, then it's going to have to start off with him. The fact that you might, get him even over, rivals Manchester City, if you class them as your rivals of the last 8 years or so, then what a win. What a win to say this club is attractive still. This club is top notch. We're here to dominate. Trust me when I say this, every word I'm mentioning right now, I'm trying to be as logical and non-biased as I can. This hurts because whilst you lot are tracking Florian Wirtz, I mean, look, I'm tracking Liam Delap's. Funny old game, isn't it? But after the season you lot have had, and I know we've been bitter, and I know you're saying, but look at the quality of the league. Now it's time to really try and make a bid for domination. Man United's had their dominating period. Man City have their dominating period. Maybe it's Liverpool's turn next. Arsenal, bless them, they're going to try as well. But they need to actually get that first Premier League win. You lot had your dominating periods back in the 70s, 80s. And here we go again. Football works in cycles. It's a funny old game, isn't it? It really is. And you know what? With the fact that it's not going to stop with Florian Wirtz, it looks like with Liverpool, Bundesliga might be the market at the moment. If you're looking at Frimpong and looking at Wirtz, well, they're actually heavy on the heels for Ekatike as well. Let that one sink in. They got all these players like Mo Salah, Van Dijk, experience in Konate now, experience in Robertson. You can actually afford to have in certain areas of the pitch, especially with Luis Diaz being quite prime now. It looks like he's going to stay and sign a new contract potentially. You can have these young project players. Florian Wirtz is already self-made. You can afford an Ekatike. It's going to be dangerous summer for us all, to be fair. We never know how it may look. But something that I and you definitely know, when it comes to an eye for transfers and getting things over the line swift, I think Michael Edwards is always going to be the key man. He's the real star in all of this. But in the same breath, I don't want to take anything away from Richard Hughes. Who knows what he's capable of as well? Because even though he's come from Bournemouth, clearly he's had an eye for talent. And that man there has his talent. Florian Wirtz. Now, I'm going to have to take the brunt of the sword from once. We know what kind of carrying away we're going to get into, but how far we have fallen. This should be me. But people, smash the like button. How do you feel about Florian Wirtz? What do you make of it? He's not signed yet. It is just interest. It's going to be a funny old battle as well because, you're not the only ones trying to go for him, as we stated, because Bayern Munich are still on his case, but I don't believe they want to put up the money that they're asking for acquiring. Even in the key words of what Ornstein said, he's keen on a move to England. I think his ambition soars away from Germany. I think you might want a new challenge. He could literally become a star, but he gets to link up with maybe Musiala. But at the same breath, when it comes to Liverpool, they've been a stable side for many, many years. He could literally be the main man, the future. And it does start with him, and you can build around him as well. That whole midfield that you've got, such a great age, and yet it's still got more potential. Gravenberch is only going to get better. McAllister's class. Now, if you just add that last little piece to the triangle, yeah, I don't really want to think about that. But yeah, look, Florian Wirtz would be brilliant. I think he'd be worth every penny. They're talking about £100 million as a package. I saw something alongside euros, maybe something a little bit north of that. And Liverpool have money to spend. I know FSG have their deficiencies, as we can call them, and when it comes to ambitions, you know, it can slide, it can go down the slide. But I read a report recently, and it was quite credible from according to Liverpool fans, that there's a newfound ambition and excitement within the FSG hierarchy. So no wonder why they're going to go splash the cash. Usually when Liverpool don't splash the cash one summer, the next they do go all out. Rumours that they're going to bring in 5 players, 250 million. They have a kitty, and alongside extra sales, because we don't know what's going to be, you know, happening with the likes of Darwin Nunez and obviously Jota and the rest of the crew losing out wages of so-called, you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think right now it's quite believable that Liverpool probably got quite a war chest if they need it, and if the right targets come along, I don't see why they're not going to spend. I'll be honest. So if you're a Liverpool fan, you're buzzing. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think. Hopefully there's some more news that comes out soon. There will be a live debate show on Never a Foul as well, and then yeah, and more. Hopefully this doesn't happen at all, and hopefully he chooses Bayern. In a bit, people.